This is Metzi from Yellow Brick Card Club. You can find us at Yellow Brick Card Club on Instagram. There we have links to our free Discord, our video streams, and whatever else we got going on at the moment. You can find Pierce at Pierce Breaks on Instagram and YouTube, and at reddit.com/r/Pierce Breaks. Both of us run lively, free Discords. Come check us out and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Yellow Brick Card Show. After our short holiday hiatus, the whole crew is back again. What's up, guys? Joe, Pierce, how's it going?
Going well. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Christmas all year. Definitely for you. Keep saying it.
Yeah, we feel like we've all started 2025 off on the right foot health wise, and it's only downhill from here. So
start fresh.
Right
on, guys. Joe, nice. It's nice to have you back, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Yeah, I took a little bit of time in December, both from breaks for the most part, and of course we all did from the pod. But it feels good to be back. Actually, Christmas, as I've explained many times, is my favorite season. But the routine and all that is a little bit nice to fall back into.
Right on, I hear you, man. Yeah, I'm sure you were busy. Lots of family stuff going on, and but here we are. I had a slate of things to go over and some topics that we wanted to touch on, but we had a wrench thrown into the whole thing today when we got a massive look at 2025 Series 1, which I'm sure you guys got to take a look at, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we also had, despite the holidays, had a ton of breaks going on. So I would love to talk about that. Some products we didn't get a chance to break before, some new products, as it's been about maybe a month or so since we've done this. So yeah, lots to chat about. Joe, did you had some things going on, or were you basically just traveling around and doing holiday stuff?
A little bit of both. So since we last potted, I believe at one point we were going to cover it, but we just never got to it. Did the giant white elephant break, which now feels like a very long time ago, but ended up being a blast. And we talked about it a little bit, but basically everybody got to submit suggested price of $25, I think. So $25 worth of sealed product. Most, if not everybody, exceeded that. So ended up being a very large break. I don't even have the count on packs and blasters, but everything from, mid 80s was probably the oldest on up to current day. Just crazy. Like I couldn't even, and I had all the product in front of me, of course, before the break started, and I couldn't even quite figure out exactly how I wanted to do it. So I kind of jumped between, started in chronological order, and then junk wax would overwhelm me, so I'd jump over to something modern. It was fun. We had some pretty good luck with autos out of blasters, highlighted by an LE out of Heritage Minor Leagues.
Oh yeah,
a relatively low numbered LE as well.
That was insane.
Yeah, kind of an odd.
Out of all the things,
yeah, wearing a green uniform. I'm blanking on the minor league team he was with at the time, but card color and jersey color is a throw off, and I wasn't even thinking LE from the jump. But got a bunch of other autos. That was definitely the bigger one, but mostly because the guys joining that break, I think, are all in it for the PC. Just cool stuff. Like, doesn't have to be bangers all the time, so just fun to see cards. A couple products I've never opened before. Topps Fire might have been my favorite new thing that I hadn't been exposed to yet.
Oh yeah, nice.
That's a cool one. I haven't opened that either, but just looking at singles and stuff.
Yeah, it's a good looking product. I might even own a single or two, but never really consciously attributed it to that product. But that was fun. I think it was just one blaster's worth, but fun product. So I'm not going to talk about everything that was in there because that would be an entire podcast, but it was a blast. The concept was a blast. I think people liked it. Shipping has started on that break. So high volume of cards. So I'm actually shipping in boxes as opposed to team bags. So everything but the kitchen sink is in there for most people. And we even had a fishing lure make an appearance from Arshan Zero, who was worried some of those expansion teams wouldn't quite get as many cards as everybody else, which is true because we had some product, quite a bit of product that predates the 4 newest teams. So it was a blast. It was, I think, 3.5, 4 hours worth of rip time. And because it's such a crazy mixer, you can't really cruise too much. If you're opening a bunch of boxes of the same product, you get collation down, you kind of feel your way around, but you're just jumping around so much that it was harder to do that. So definitely we had it in 2 parts because we ran into bus time for the kids, but it was a fun one, and we will do it again. And I think Pierce might have something on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, what good is this relationship for if not shamelessly stealing break ideas from each other? So yeah, I'm doing. I think it'll be a lower key. I specifically said, please do not send me junk wax unless it's a throw-in. So hopefully I'll have a little bit less to go through, but it's already starting to stack up. So we shall see.
You got any like previews or teasers, anything interesting coming in for that?
I have put pictures on the Discord when I get stuff in, but yesterday, interestingly enough, we got some boxes of 206 in.
Nice.
So I have to buy more mini sleeves.
That was a fun one. That will be great. I really liked opening that, so that'll be really cool
For sure.
Yeah, you could. I would suggest the full side sleeves with the little pocket in the middle. I think that would work a little because then you don't have to get tiny top loaders or put small sleeves in big top loaders or anything like that.
Yeah, I have a stack of tiny top loaders from Allen and Ginter, and I worked through the sleeves, but I still have a ton of top loaders, so I need to use them.
Joe, did you have any run-ins with old gum at all?
I did. So we got quite a various vintages of gum. I don't know, 85 to whenever they stopped in the early 90s. Here's the interesting thing. At some point, they got smart and sealed the gum. That gum looked very edible. Some of the gum that was not sealed still looked edible, and some of the other gum had turned a shade that nobody would ever buy gum in. So I chose the middle route. I kept the sealed one. I think we only got one of those, and I'm going to ship it. I may have already shipped it, actually, to someone in the break. Congratulations if you won that lottery. But I did eat one of the still pink colored sticks, and the taste will bring you back. It's very crunchy. It doesn't really ever turn really into gum, but the familiar taste and smell is still there 30 something years later.
Love it.
It was a trip.
Well, I'm glad you did that so we don't have to, so we know all about it. If you want something that's kind of like gum but goes straight into liquid when it gets into your mouth, then try to find some like 40-year-old sticks of gum. It'll do exactly what you want. Buy some old junk wax. You'll have as much as you need. Affordable. Yeah. I bet there's some like gum only lots on eBay you can find. Man,
did you ever see that card, a custom card somebody made, or maybe even Topps commissioned it, made out of gum? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I'll have to post that somewhere. Somebody, I think Topps sanctioned somehow, but they made a gum out of a classic design. Don't remember which one. A card rather of gum. Some artist put it together, and I'm not sure what the utility is or wanting to own one, but it looks really cool.
Is there utility to any of this stuff?
I do vaguely remember seeing that.
Yes.
All right. No, yeah, you'll have to post that for me. That's a new one on me.
I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, right on. Well, I got to open a whole bunch of stuff that I've been really stoked to open, and some stuff I didn't have a chance to open last year. So we had a great time. I was doing most of the break duties while you were gallivanting off with your Christmas antics, and got to do a bunch of Bowman Draft, which was new for me. And I always get nervous around Bowman Draft because it's just this like price per card is way up there. At least the cards you care about. Like I'm still learning about like what you should actually put sleeves on and not what people are putting straight into their giant shoe boxes. But that was fun. We got we got a unique auto I hadn't seen before. We got some parallels that I had no idea existed, like the I forgot what it was called, but it was like that diamond steel pattern you get on like your truck travel boxes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like, "What? This is so Panini! Like, I don't even know what's going on." But it looked kind of cool in the right light. I think they just called it like silver metal or something like that. Or I don't know, but it was kind of silly. I'd seen the green grass before, but we got a green grass chrome, which I hadn't actually like had one in my hand before. It looks very cool. Cam Smith, which is not a bad one.
What do you think of the green grass? That's one of my favorites.
I like the green grass. I like patterns like that. Even if they're kind of silly, even if they're getting into Panini garishness, I think it's cool. The creativeness is cool, and just differences are cool. There are some that are definitely not cool, but like there are also regular cards that are definitely not cool too. So, it happens. But that's the one I like. It's very like, when you think of the more serene side of baseball, like fresh cut grass and having a big field is kind of one of those things you kind of, at least that I kind of think about, and it's something relaxing that you're at the park and it's quiet and there's just a big field of grass in front of you or you're playing on it. That's a big deal. So it's relevant. I think the metal one, the silver metal or whatever they called it, maybe a little less relevant, but you gotta stick them in there. Gotta get your all of your parallels in there somehow to fill out that checklist. So but yeah, that was cool. A lot of cards. Opening those big double jumbo packs were like, it was kind of a trip. It kind of, I did 5 of them and it was weird every time, but so that was fun. We just had a massive run on Brooklyn Collection. Like, I ordered way more than I thought we would need. Like, I thought, hey, there'll be a few people in here. It's short checklist stuff, high price per card. Not as high as some of the other stuff, but like, they're pretty pricey, and it's tough to sell in like a PYT format because there's 7 cards. But people were into it. We did divisions, and people were into it. Like, we sold them all like, I think 1 or 2 days. So I just ripped them all, and it was super rad. Like, I think everybody got into Brooklyn, and the design's awesome. I think the base card design is the best part of that set. The autos were a little like kind of westerny, if you've seen the design on those, and were kind of odd, but they did have, that also has kind of a throwback feel too. So I dug that too. Something about the matte finish on the thick stock card made the ink look very fresh. It's hard to describe if you haven't seen it in person, but like, you can definitely tell where they, pushed harder or softer, or like, but they were all still very full autographs with, not, sometimes you get that like, your pen is kind of dying and it gets a little streaky in the middle. They were all awesome. They were just awesome cards to hold. They're thick, they're sturdy, the designs were great. They were matte, but the letters were glossy. So like, as you moved it around, some of it shined and some of it didn't. Like, it was just, I don't know. It's not like the craziest thing they do or like the top set every year, but like, it kind of blew me away. So we had a great time opening those and seeing what we got.
Yeah, I think you and I talked offline. We were both like, I guess we should have gotten a case. Like, I did the same thing before it was coming out. Like, I was excited because I have a couple cards from past years that I really liked. And so I was like, who's in for Brooklyn? And it was like, some people were like, yeah, I'm in. And it didn't seem like there was much excitement for it. And then as soon as the breaks dropped, it was like, boom, they were just filling up quickly. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess the people wanted Brooklyn.
Yeah. There was some people, I think they were feeling like they were missing out, but some people who were just really getting into it. And yeah, like, check out the singles and like older years and stuff, even the stuff going back to like, I think I ended up buying like a 2020 of somebody. Like, it's just, all of their stuff is really cool. And then the die cuts are a whole different story. Like, it's like 100-point die cut or something like that. So it's already kind of weird. Big thick thing. And then if you've seen any of the old Brooklyn stuff, like the old ones are die cuts of buildings mostly. And this year it was a big Ferris wheel, like
Coney Island.
Yeah, I'm gonna get stabbed by a New Yorker, but like whatever that Ferris wheel is, a big Coney Island die cut. We actually got a Ted Williams out of 5 red, which was really cool. And then what was it, like an opera house or like a theater inside on the other die cut. We got a couple of those too. So yeah, just like creative stuff. Very cool. I liked it a lot. So that was a blast.
Yeah, you
had another.
You did good on that one, Wax. Doing getting, you got how many, 6 or 8?
I got 10.
10. Yeah. You saw that coming, I think. I grabbed 1, which was a blast to open, but we would not have met demand if not for your foresight. So
I was thinking like 5 max would go, and like the other ones would be like, if we don't get to these, I can, someone else is going to want to break them. I'll be able to get rid of them pretty easy. But no, like just snapped them all up. And so people wanted personal boxes. Like there was just, I don't know what happened, but like it was like everybody got this like zombie disease for Brooklyn for like 2 days, and they were just foaming at the mouth for it, like wanting it. So yeah, that's what I imagined, at least. I don't know. Nobody was doing that. But that was awesome. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe next year we'll try more. I'm a little pensive about the 2025 checklist, but we can talk about that later too. We had another break battle, which was awesome.
Yes.
It was ups and downs, roller coasters. If you didn't think a break could be exciting in a way other than what kind of cards you're going to get, that one was like, it was a contest that went down to the wire. Like it was great.
Yeah.
And, man, if you haven't seen it, at least watch the end where I'm, sure I'm going to win and go and taunting you a lot.
Yes. Well, shout out to our producer Metzi for coming up with the point system. It definitely spiced things up a bit, especially with Chrome Platinum. I mean, just all the numbered cards that come out of that. I mean, when you look back at it, you suffered because you got a bunch of unnumbered autos. You had like 2 or 3 more autos than me, but those were 0 points. So it was like every time you got an auto, I was like, yes, no points.
That's the game, man.
Yeah.
So that's the way it went. Ended up, I'll spoil it. Ended up just barely by a nose. What was it? 1 point even? There's a couple.
It
points
was like under 5 points.
Yeah,
I
at
think,
the very end. Yeah, so that was a nail biter. It was pretty cool.
It was.
And we also ended up getting a super sweet Bobby Witt Jr. out of 99 green twirl. Did I say it right?
You did.
Yeah, finally. I've been practicing. Green twirl, which for our boy David Chi-Town Cubs, who is a big Royals fan. So that was awesome to get a really cool card, PC hit, and send that off. So congrats for that one. Just a great break all around. Fun doing it, fun shipping out cards for people who got nice ones. So got a lot of cool stuff. I mean, Platinum Anniversary always has neat stuff. I think we got like a Jim Rice auto or like some other cool stuff in there.
Yeah, we got a bittersweet one. I got a gold Ricky Henderson like a day or two before he passed. It was wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but that was great.
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And just recently, yesterday, actually, I finally got to open some boxes of black and white. I think I was the last person in the world to get my shipment of black and white, but finally it shipped out and made its merry little way over the country during Christmas, and everything just went to a standstill. Like, I don't know how much stuff you were waiting for, but like it was sweaty, like trying to get some stuff over the holiday. But it finally showed up and we opened it up and it delivered. Like, those cards are amazing. If you haven't had a chance to get a look at black and white or get some black and white singles, like they're quality cards. Every one I opened was immaculate. All the colors are cool. They're simple. All the photos are great. Matte front, glossy backs. They're just great cards. I love them. And we ended up getting a golden hour, which was sweet. Like, that's one you have to see in person. Like, you can't. It was tough to take a good photo of that card because it has a semi-reflective surface that kind of, I don't know. It's tough to explain. It makes this like gold. I don't know, not a speckle, but it's tough. But it's just one of the most awesome cards I've had in person. So I loved opening those. Did you get a chance to open any of that?
I did not. It's always tough with the online releases, tough to gauge interest. But I think, just as a guiding principle after Black and White in Brooklyn, it's like, on the very off chance that people aren't interested in buying them, like the online release value always increases after they're on sale, and they're much more limited than flagship and Chrome and all that stuff. So it's
and
if you're on the fence about getting it, like at minimum you will get your money back if you keep it sealed.
Yeah, like that smaller run stuff that there's like they're gonna sell this once, and when it's gone, you're up to the mercy of eBayers, So, at the very least, you're gonna make your money back on most of that stuff. And in general, my experience has been on most products. In general, you'll probably get close to making your money back if you need to. If you get in a situation where you're not sure if you need an extra box or not, it's not too difficult to not completely lose everything on it if you need to get rid of it. But I think the only one I lost money on was 23 Bowman Chrome, which was universally panned. So,
That'll do
yeah,
it.
that was a tough one. But the rest of the products have been doing great. So, yeah. And then, yeah, I ended up getting 5 boxes. Again, it was the same thing as Brooklyn. Like, this is before Brooklyn went down. And so, like, ordered them forever ago. And I missed Black and White last year, and I was really jealous because I was into Gunner and Adley and, like a good rookie class. And they had great cards, and I didn't get any, and it got expensive real fast. And I had major FOMO on that one. So I made sure we got some, even if it was just for me, even if nobody wanted it, I was going to have some. And it's a hit. It's awesome. So you get a chance to buy one of those. I think they're pushing $300 a box. And honestly, compared to some of the other stuff you can get for $300 a box, it's not a bad buy. Like it's almost worth it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I would suggest if you're into that kind of thing. If you look at the cards and you're like, wow, these are cool cards, and you want to break a box, like I would do it. The checklist is pretty small, so you have a good chance of getting something you'll like. I think there's 6 parallels in a box, something like that, 4 or 6. There's a lot of them, and you get an auto, even though it's a sticker auto, but it still looks nice. I wasn't distracted by the
couple short prints, right?
We had 2 boxes with short prints, and the rest of them didn't have short prints.
Oh, okay.
So, those are not guaranteed, but they're in there. There's also super short prints. I saw an Otani. Somebody in our Discord got a Otani SSP, which is rad. And then I looked into it to see what was going on, and the Otani SP is a great photo of him like screaming with his arms up, like he's obviously like super juiced, and he's just getting pelted with sunflower seeds, like they're just all over him, which is an awesome card. And I might pick it up if it was cheaper, but that one's running, I think it was like $125, and then this SSP was pushing $300. So yeah, people are into it, they're buying it, and great set. So Black and White, do it up. And then we also got a chance to open a little bit more Chrome Update. I think we haven't been doing quite as well on Chrome Update, and not as well as we did with regular Chrome, but we did end up with a redemption. I think our first redemption for YBRV, at least on my side. And it ended up being a Yamamoto purple magenta auto for a PC guy. So yeah, he's super stoked to get that. So that was awesome. And we also had an Ellie parallel on that box too. So and it was missing another parallel. I thought those hobbies had 2 parallels in them, but I'm going to try to fill out a missing hit and see what happens. But that'll just be gravy after those 2 cards. So
right.
We got 2 hobbies actually, and we ended up with 2 stratospheric stars, which I really like. Super cool insert. Rare, but didn't end up being as expensive as it started out when they first came out. So if you like those, you can pick those up for a pretty decent price.
Those are
awesome
super
cards.
cheap, I'm pretty sure, for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, $10-$20, something like that.
Yeah.
I think I ended up with a Judge because it came paired with another card, and it was an auction in the lots section of eBay, and so I got a great price. I think I ended up with like $15 for 2 rare inserts. So yeah, check those out if you're interested. And then finally, our maybe one of two most asked about products finally hit and got a chance to take a look at. Pierce, I think you just had an encounter. Can you tell us about 2024 archives?
Yeah, of course. As a big archives head, as we have discussed, I was very excited to get into 2024, and I was lucky enough to get my case a day early. So I got to rip it open on Tuesday night. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, the 90s, the 94 design is actually really clean. Like, I wasn't, as we've talked about, I wasn't collecting at the time, so a lot of this stuff is like completely new to me. And I was especially like the top rookies and even some of the old guys that I think Willie Mays has like the 94 design. And so it's just like, that's like the fun of archives, is just seeing these cards that you never would see otherwise. Like, very, very cool. The inserts are definitely very 90s, early 2000s. I think across the board, all of the inserts are like, they just have that foil style to them, like the Wrecking Crew and At the Break and all that stuff, like gaudy fonts, and it's just fun. I unfortunately didn't get any fun insert autos. I think we got a few Own the Game autos, but no New Breed or Wrecking Crew for those, but those are still pretty cool. And we got a lot of awesome parallel autos for some of the vets, and that's another reason why I like archives, because you get those fan favorite autographs that for the most part are fan favorite players. We got a AJ Przinsky White Sox auto, we got a Beltran Mets auto, we got a Sean Green Dodgers auto color match. So it was just a lot of fun. It was, my return to breaking after like 3 weeks or whatever it was since we did the battle. So good way to get back into the swing. The negatives, I would say, is the quality control on the foil cards is a little iffy. There are some of them that just have lines on them or like little dings in the edges and stuff like that. And it definitely seemed more noticeable in archives than in other sets. Kind of not like every single card, but definitely fairly common, which was unfortunate. And then it's not like the worst thing, but the design variations are just like so obnoxiously hard to spot. So when I was
they're
breaking,
just like reversed, right?
There's 1961 and 1994, the nameplate is reversed. So I'm actually looking at them right now. The base cards all have the names on the left side, and the design variations just have the nameplates switched onto the right side. But both of them are so like, they're not super large and in your face or anything. Like, if you know what you're looking for, you'll see them. But the first night I was like, I'm not going to even bother looking for design variations. Like, I'll find them when we sort. And then the 1970 cards, it's the backs. The back has like the name and the name on top with like their little blurb, and then their stats on the bottom, and the design variation is flipped. So the stat section is on the top and the name is on the bottom. So it's just like even more annoying than the white backs last year. Like, the white backs were pretty obvious and so easy to just like catch at a glance, but this one's like, you have to really examine the back of every single 1970 card. So
yeah, and as a breaker, that's incredibly annoying.
Yes.
And after going through what was it, Stadium Club, I think, had image variations that were almost indiscernible, like if you weren't already, and they were pretty rare too. So I think I found one, and the only reason I did it is because I was sorting one team and I had two cards of the same player that weren't alike, and I was like,
yeah.
oh. But at some point I was trying to look up and see which players had variations, and then I just kind of forgot, and then eventually they were all in bags, and I was like, well, I guess everyone else they got variations. Like, I didn't notice any from then on, but like, it's the same kind of deal. Like, that's a lot of extra work when you're sorting a case of cards. Like, so But I could also see if you're doing personal boxes at home and you're taking your time with them and taking a look at them, it's an extra little treasure hunt, right? Like you've gone through your cards and you want to like, oh, maybe I got a variation. You can take a closer look at all of them and get to see those details. And since they have so many different styles and designs, there's a lot to look at. So I think it's pretty cool. It's Archives is one of my favorites just because you get to see a lot of that. A lot of those old designs that were, designs that were used, but you might not have seen before because you're not into vintage or, like you weren't collecting in the 90s or 2000s or whatever. And you might not have any players that have cards back then. So might be all new to you. And if you don't, like I said, there's cards like that 94 Willie Mays. Like I think I was in your stream when you hit that and I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
It's like you're a little bit more used to seeing current players on old style cards,
right?
It's pretty often this heritage and that kind of stuff. But like seeing Willie Mays on a 94 was like, it's like an alternate dimension.
Yeah,
but like, so that was cool. I like that kind of stuff. So yeah, and Archives, the QC stuff like that happened last year too.
Yeah,
it's a cheaper set. There's a lot of cards. They must have printed a ton of them. It's bound to happen. I think we're used to that by now. It's unfortunate when it happens, but
yeah,
it's part of what happens with these cards is like condition plays another factor. There's rarity. There's autographed, not autographed, parallels, and then now you also have to consider: did I get a nice enough one to make it even more rare? Right. So
right.
That's just part of the game. That's unfortunate, but it is. So. Awesome. Yeah, I had a blast. We have a ton of archives, so we're going to be working our way through it too. Joe, I know you got to open some. Do you have any other thoughts about the archive set this year?
Just a couple. I think you guys covered it pretty well. QC, I thought it was markedly better than 2023.
Oh, nice.
I don't know on a scale of Topps archives, I guess, but I love that set. I love for the same reasons. The history, every other card is a different style, and while it can cause confusion, Pierce actually identified me missing one of those design variations, I think. And they are easy to miss. I no doubt probably have a couple others that will get out in the sort. But seeing those autos pop out, we had so I opened 4 hobbies over 3 different breaks. So 3 of our 6 autos were announcers or writers.
That's wild.
We're discussing it in the chat. Like, it's cool. I'd be stoked if it was one of my, if it was a Mariner play-by-play guy, I'd be totally stoked. But some other teams play-by-play guy is not gonna, excite me too much. So one of them was a Padres guy, and the other 2 were national writer, and it was only in who's the other one? But anyways,
Joe
2
Buck,
national
right?
guys. Joe Buck, yeah, thank you. And then but despite the fact that half of them were not players, then we hit 2. We got a Paul Konerko and a Goose Gossage, who has a beautiful autograph.
Nice.
And then the real good one, I think it was the second to last auto we pulled. We lucked out and did get an insert auto. It was a New Breed gold to 50 Junior Caminero.
Ooh.
Which was definitely the big card out of those breaks.
Yes, indeed.
It's
nice.
very, very pretty. But I had like Wax, you said, we have a ton more, and I'm stoked to open it. It's just a fun break. I could have kept going last night, but we didn't have any more on hand, just the ones we filled for release day. But fun product. And I love that you can, I think even in 2023, after the release day prices, you can still pick up a blaster for 25, I think. I don't know that it really went up from there. So in small sample size, but I got several autographs out of blasters last year, and I couldn't have opened more than 5 at most. So personals. So really cool. There is a pretty sweet black parallel that's blaster exclusive. I opened 1 personal yesterday. It's a beautiful card. I don't have a lot bad to say. The quality control definitely needs some work, but even given those issues, and I don't know that you open archives thinking you're going to get 10s, and why I'm not even sure how much grading happens with archives. I haven't run those numbers, but fun all around. I could open that every day.
Nice. Yeah, I was super into it last year. I'm glad we got another chance to open a whole bunch for people. Some things I learned about archives is that if you're looking for autos, there are I think I have a hunch that there are a lot more broadcaster autos than nice player autos, and so you're gonna see. We saw quite a few of those in 23 as well. So get prepared to see an auto you might not expect. There are also two different kind of tiers of autos, not counting the inserts, but so there's the fan favorites, like you said, which has a lot of those players that don't get a lot of love other places, which is great for fans. But if you're looking for Ellie or Chorio or those guys are in the premium section, which is much more rare. So I suggest you go check out Beckett, check out the checklist, check out the odds, and see what you're getting into before you buy a whole bunch of it, because it's tough to get those bigger names. I think actually Jackson Merrill is a fan favorite, which makes that a little bit easier to get. But like I said before, you don't really know how many of these cards they've signed. They haven't necessarily signed the same number as Jordan Beck or Coco Montes, who we did see in Stadium Club yesterday. So you're getting into something a little bit different with archives, but a lot of people like that. So I also really enjoy seeing parallels of those classic designs. So I had a bunch of 94, and now they have aqua and orange and red hot foils. Like a red hot foil is one of my favorite parallels.
Yes. Definitely.
So seeing a red hot foil on a 54 or whatever it was, whatever I have to go back and look at what the J Rod is, but they're sweet. So yeah, big fan.
Yeah, going back to what you're saying, I think that was one of my about the premium versus the fan favorites. That was one of my biggest disappointments. I feel like all the stars, like the current stars, were premium autographs this year versus regular fan favorites. So I've been scoping out eBay for Corbin auto because he's premium, and I haven't seen one yet. So they must be
extra
be more rare. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
and
also,
people are ripping that stuff like crazy, so it's kind of
right. I guess it hasn't officially released because it was just the general on sale, and there was no official pre-order. So we'll see.
That is true. Yeah,
we'll see when those boxes hit.
Yeah, today's Thursday the 9th, so it would have released yesterday. So probably a lot of people are going to be getting it this weekend. We'll see those first premium prices on eBay this weekend probably, and then go from there. So yeah, archives. I'm excited. And the collector's box. Did you get to open any collector's boxes?
I did not. I just stuck with the hobby boxes.
Okay, great. Yeah.
I think not that I did any last year, but I know one of the big things was the team postcards that they did not do this year. And that seemed like one of the big, obviously, aside from the lunch boxes themselves, but those seemed like cool cards that were a reason to do the collector's boxes that did not exist this year.
Yeah, not a lot of box toppers in general this year. I mean, we had an A&G, which is kind of a an A&G thing, but Stadium Club had box toppers before, and these had box toppers before, and not so much. So yeah, people must not like them. I know I'm not a big fan. I don't hate them, but
I don't.
Was a decision.
I definitely don't need box toppers personally.
Yeah, I'm actually just taking a quick look at eBay, and I just looked for Archives 24 Premium Auto, and there's 4 cards listed. So very rare so far.
That's wild.
Yeah, and Felix Hernandez is in the list, so I will be watching. I'm not sure which design he's on, but it'll be great to see. Usually he's got a great signature. I got a few of his autos, so
that's
eye out.
That's the tricky part too. The auto designs are all different from the base designs, so who knows what it'll be.
Yeah. Oh, there's a Lou Piniella, but it's a Royals player card. That's okay. Lou's still cool. I could use a Lou Piniella card. Mariners legend. Excellent. All right. Do you have anything coming up that you want to talk about? Any other breaks you're working on? I know you have the white elephant thing coming up.
Yeah, so that the basically did it to gear up for 2025 Series 1, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, so that's all full. I'm just waiting for boxes to come in at this point. And I'll break that first week of February. I did order another half case of archives. Just because, we like to make sure that everybody gets their team. So a few people missed out on their PC teams on the first case. So I figured I would pick up a few more boxes and help people get their teams. And just while the archives hype is still going, just have more boxes open. So I will open that up probably when this releases. I'll have it fully open for signups. And I am filling up a 2021 Bowman's Best break. The boxes are super cheap. I think one of the reasons is because they are just outside of the redemption window, unfortunately. But from what I've seen, I mean, most of the autos in the box are not redemptions. I know our friend of the pod, 420, did a mixer and they hit a Mike Trout Heat Wave die cut auto redemption, and it was not eligible, unfortunately. That would have been a beautiful card. So hopefully no redemptions, but still for the price, less than $200 a box for Bowman's Best is pretty decent, and it just always has awesome designs, awesome parallels and everything. So I'm very excited to open that. I just have to fill it first. So that's that. And
so that doesn't fall under Topps' new redemption policy?
No, 2022 is the cutoff, and it's like they say 2021/2022 products, but that's like specifically for, I think, those football and basketball products that are labeled 2021/2022. That's my understanding. And I spoke to 420 recently, and he confirmed that they were not able to get that Trout redeemed, unfortunately.
Bummer.
What was the impetus for starting up a 21 Bowman's Best break?
Because it was very cheap. It's there's kind of a lull now between now and the start of the season, 2025 Series 1. We have 2024 Bowman's Best was delayed until next week from when we're recording, this week from when we're releasing the episode. So that's coming out on the 15th. And then I think it's just like a bunch of high-end stuff filling out January. And then 2025 Series 1 will be the second week of February. So I was just looking for stuff, and it was like an astoundingly good price. I mean, it's still 4 autos a box, and under $200 for that is unheard of. And there's still there's some duds because it's prospects and stars, but there are still some good guys. I'm pretty sure Bobby Witt is in it, and a couple other prospects. Even Jackson Jobe has a base card. He's going to be a hyped pitcher for the Tigers in 2025, finally making his debut. So there's a lot of young guys that are still relevant in the boxes, and it was a great price. So I think most of the teams I did, there's only a handful that are over 40, and every other team is closer to 20 and 30. So, for the price of a blaster, it seemed like a fun one to do.
Very cool. Yeah, nice budget break. And they're nice cards too. Nice chrome.
Yes.
Like you said, cool design. So yeah, that could be a winner. I'm excited to see what you get.
Me too.
And, non-redemption cool cards.
Yes, exactly. Fingers crossed.
I'm just looking at the rest of 2024's products, like label 2024 products. Like you said, Bowman's Best is finally coming. And then we have Definitive, we have Transcendent, Diamond Icons, and Bowman Draft Sapphire. So these are all like $700-800 boxes or something like that. Maybe Definitive will be less, but those are the top end products. diamond icons maybe will be a little less, but it's not like, the stuff we're breaking now. It's all gonna be high roller stuff. So yeah, I got a little time before our day, which is what, February 16th, I believe. Once again, bracketing Valentine's Day, much to the dismay of folks our age everywhere.
Wednesday the 12th, I think.
Wednesday the 12th. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wednesday the 12th will be 2025 Series 1. No checklist news yet, but we did get a extended look at what the parallels are going to be like and what the design is. Some eye-opening stuff. Joe, did you have any first thoughts about what's going on with 2025?
I did. So overall, I'm cautiously optimistic, as they say. The design, I feel like seeing it digitally and seeing it in hand are always two really different things. So if I'm thinking I like it digitally, I'm probably going to like it in person. I guess we'll see. Reminds me a little bit of, I want to say 2021 or 2020. But I'm digging it. I guess, yeah, got to see it in hand. We'll get to the parallels, I'm sure, because there's been some fairly massive changes, I would say, to parallel types, depending on if they have completed the publication of all the different numbered cards.
Well,
but
I think I know what you're referring to, and I did see some info about that. If you're talking about the parallels that seem to be missing from the checklist.
Yeah, that was one thing. Although I figured retail that they might get added, but some of the lower numbered, like Father's Day, Mother's Day, is gone.
I believe my understanding is that those are the retail ones, but maybe that's not correct.
Oh, okay.
I think
Interesting.
I saw some chatter on social media that the odds and the parallels are only the retail parallels that were leaked or released today.
Okay.
So cautiously optimistic. I mean, I can't imagine that black is not going to be there. Like that's just been part of the lineup for a long time.
Yeah. They added to so many of them. They added, the color and the numbered stayed the same, but they added rainbow. So they're calling it red rainbow, black rainbow, gold rainbow. That's already existed, but that would actually change the game quite a bit.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. It depends on if they're going to lower the print run. They might have fewer parallels. I can't imagine they would lower them enough to cut off everything numbered higher than 299. But yeah, so I guess we'll definitely be getting more info out of that. The design, like you said, is it's tough to know until you get it in your hand. Especially, I mean, just look at this year where it kind of looked pretty gross to begin with. I think a lot of people were upset, but once you saw how they used the foil and definitely when the chrome cards came out, I think a lot of minds got changed. So I think this might be a similar situation. You can see the design online. You've probably seen it by now if you're really into cards. It's a little swoopy in places. It's got a little bug instead of just position in letters, which I think is cool. I don't think I'd seen that before. So like the Aaron Judge card has a little baseball diamond and there's a big dot in center field where he plays. So you know where his position is. I think that's cool. I think it's a great idea.
I think that might be my favorite addition. It looks like a scorecard if you keep score at a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I think there's potential to have some utility there with the scorecard, but yeah, I think that's a great addition.
I'm into it.
Yeah, I don't immediately hate it, which is a good sign. Although I do have really terrible taste in general, so sometimes it's the complete opposite of what I think. But I'm sure tastemakers will let us know. I think I saw. There's a Future Stars Pete Crow Armstrong that some people absolutely hate that I think is incredible. And if this is so again, and if this is an indication of where some of the other parallels are going to go, like I'm totally into it. So. Hopefully we will have enough interesting players to want to go after those, because it's definitely not going to be like this year. I think we might have an idea of maybe a couple people, Dylan Cruz, James Wood, two Nats. Those will probably be the biggest ones I can think of.
Mhm.
But other teams, question marks. Mariners, double question marks, because I don't think we've even signed anybody yet. So
We
we
picked
don't know
someone up
what's going to
waivers
happen.
today.
Okay, great,
Can't
awesome.
remember his name. He's for the bullpen pile.
Yeah, it'll be
Our
one of
front
those. When did
office.
we get that guy? Yeah,
I think they're breathing at least. Maybe alive.
Right on. Cool. Yeah. So just some of the things I noticed in there, like you said, there's got to be some additions here. They didn't list any of the, like you said, retail stuff. They didn't list any of the purple or blue retails that we've been getting, the $7.99s and the $9.99. So that's not on the list yet. Things like green, I think is what, $4.99, something like that. In flagship right now, and now it's listed. There's a green rainbow foil out of 99. So are they going to do green cracked and green rainbow now? Like, are they going to add extra types of the same color? Like, that seems a little extreme, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. Oh, the gold rainbow foil, which is one of my favorite parallels just in general, is now numbered to 50. So they were already pretty low print run, and kind of underappreciated, I think. But now they will be numbered. So if it's the same deal, then they'll be numbered to 50. So stuff like that. There's a wood out of 25. There's a canvas out of /50, which is interesting. I don't think we've seen those. There's heavy lumbers, but I don't think everybody has a wood card in any set.
I'm super intrigued by the canvas.
Canvas, yeah,
my
canvas stocks
favorite.
are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw some of that stuff in 206 actually. So I guess everybody does have a wood card in 206. But yeah, canvas stock was a wood in there. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. I like a little shake up, see where these things are going to go. So yeah, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
Let's get 2025 started.
Yeah, we've talked about it at length that we're excited for the 1990 inserts. So we got a preview of that a few weeks ago when they announced that Barry Bonds has autos.
Mm-hmm.
He has Giants and Pirates autos in the set. So
he has both. Oh man. Okay.
Yeah,
well, that'll help out some of those teams.
That will be fun to look out for. But going back to the checklist, I was just looking up because member of our discords in a big country is a big prospect head, and he put together a list of potential rookies for Series 1. We talked about the big ones, Dylan Cruz and James Wood, but some other names that you may know: Jacob Wilson for the A's, potentially, Connor Norby for the Marlins, formerly of the Orioles, Kobe Mayo for the Orioles, Kumar Rocker was a big name. When did he get drafted? Was that like 5 or 6 years ago or something? He's
been for him.
Yeah, he came up for the Rangers at the end of the season last year, so
yeah,
could potentially
smoke
be
the Mariners too. Absolutely.
not to bring up bad memories.
No,
but,
I mean, if that's any indication of what's going to happen, like don't keep your eye on him. Like he blew us away.
Jackson Jobe, a name we mentioned before, came in. I think he came in relief primarily for the Tigers, but he's just like an absolute flamethrower, like triple digits. Jace Young for the Tigers, younger brother of Josh. Is it Young or Jung? I always forget.
I go with Young.
Yeah, Young sounds right. And we'll see if he proves my younger brother theory. We'll see how he does when he comes up. And then Rhett Lauder is another one who's a decently rated prospect pitcher for the Reds. So Series 1 is always kind of a little bare compared to Series 2 and Update, because you don't get like the top guys that get like rushed through the system or just need a little more time to get warmed up before they get called up. So we're not comparing it to Series 2 or Update from 2024. So when you look at 2024 Series 1, it's pretty comparable. You have like a couple of super big names and then mostly solid guys that have potential but have to see where they end up.
I think you meant owners manipulating the service clock.
Yes.
I'm not going to be politically correct with that one. What I like about Series 1, though, is we obviously don't have the checklist, but outside of the rookies, you're going to get your team's main dudes.
Yes.
So regardless. So
Right.
for the PC crowd, and I think both of us have a lot of that, it's going to be exciting no matter what. For one, it's the first drop of 25, but you're going to get your not even just your stars, but your starters, many of them.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get my D-backs Corbin Burns card in Series 1.
True.
I don't know. Maybe you will. Maybe you'll get a Photoshop SP.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe they got it in, but I feel like usually the big signings it's Series 2. But we'll see.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but yeah, get a couple of those SPs in for folks to come in for Series 2, and that's honestly not that too far off.
Yeah.
So yeah, and just the cycle continues. Around we go, but I'm excited. I'm excited for 1990s. I'm saving my pennies for all of the 1990 cards.
Yes,
because that is my jam. I'm the first gold Julio 1990 auto that comes out. I'm gonna get in line for. So yeah, and I'm just taking a look at the plan parallels for the inserts too, and they all look pretty interesting. Like I said, one of the things I like about archives is seeing those old designs on parallels, and they'll certainly have those for the 35th anniversary 1990 cards, and bonds. Like even on auto bonds, I'm there. Get me a nice gold bonds parallel. That would be sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing we did gloss over a little bit, the other notable omissions were the team border parallels and the true photo parallels. Awesome additions to 2024, and so far nowhere to be seen in 2025. So
yeah, a lot of this stuff is very different. It's different enough that I expect that there's probably some stuff we're not getting. So
yeah,
keep an eye out.
I think Topps kind of almost expects or even wants this discourse to be taking place. You know what I mean?
Oh, like, for sure.
They're going to tease us. They're going to leak something, and we're going to freak out and be like, "Where are all the parallels?"
Yeah, it's 5 weeks away.
That trap. So
yeah, it's 5 weeks away, and that's an eternity in baseball card land. So
yes.
Like I was just thinking about the stuff we did that we just talked about, the breaks we did in like a month ago, and I'm like, oh my god, that was forever ago. So yeah, there'll be a lot more to come. I'm sure. Get that social media cycle swirling around and people talking about it. Some other notable stuff that I saw in there was Real One autographs, Pierce. Is that going to throw a wrench into your collection? What do you think about that?
I mean, if they're red ink real ones, then it may throw a wrench, but you know, not as much a wrench as just another thing that I need to add to the collection.
A golden wrench.
Yeah,
a very expensive wrench.
Exactly. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think the D-backs really have any like hyped prospects because Lawler, it will technically be Lawler's rookie season in real life, but he had his rookie card last year. So I don't know. I mean, depends if my guy Gino can make a push, but their major league roster is pretty filled out. There's not a lot of holes in the lineup. So hopefully, you know, the real ones, if they're nice enough, won't be too cost prohibitive for the D-backs.
Yeah. And they say, they didn't say anything about red inks, but they did say there will be gold, orange, black, red, and foil fractors. So you're going to have that. I don't believe I know of any real ones that are on parallels. Those are just heritage, straight up heritage, blue and red. So that'll be interesting. I'm for it. Get some autos on some base cards. That would be cool.
Definitely.
So interesting to see that. And Rickwood collection cards.
Yeah.
Relic autos. That's going to be rad. So I'm really excited to see what those are going to be like.
Yes, definitely.
Right on. And silver packs, of course. There'll be mojos too. Parallels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My eyes are getting big. You don't know what they are.
We can hear it in your voice.
Salivating.
Yes.
Extra swallowing going on here to make sure I'm radio friendly. Yeah, awesome, man. So yeah, lots of stuff going on, lots of stuff still going on. We are so close to opening YBRB 100.
Oh,
which is a momentous occasion, of course. We'll be knee deep in it, I'm sure, by the time you guys hear this. So for those of us who are right here, stay tuned. For everyone else, I hope you enjoy it. So, and we will definitely have more, like I said, more archives. Keep an eye out for that, and we'll keep getting the stuff you like. It seems like we're getting a lot more interested in some other stuff that we haven't had a chance to open before. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm excited to see what we do in 2025. So the best to all of you. I'm excited to see where this goes, and I've had a blast so far. So I'm sure we will talk about our year in review stuff very soon. But I do want to say, as the start of this year, that I really appreciate all three of you guys, the silent one behind the board, tweaking the knobs, possibly most of all for really making this happen.
Yes.
And you guys too for being just even great to talk to, great to work with, just having a blast running the hobby stuff. So thank you guys. Thanks for being cool. And thanks to everybody in the Discord for being cool too. Like, it's just been indescribable so far. So I'm really excited to see what happens next year. If it's anything like this year, it's going to be a total blast. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see. I feel like there was a brief moment where our break numbering was aligned, and now you guys are like 20 ahead of me. So you guys have just been going crazy, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Wax, for many of those 20 were you in December. I snuck in there a couple times, but you did an outstanding job while I took a little bit of a holiday, as they say. But to echo you, man, this has been a blast. It's a great time to look back on how 24 went and then where we want to go next year, the podcast included. Just so much fun. So to all three of you, four of us, I guess, I appreciate it.
Self-love is important.
Yeah. And to yourself. Maybe most of all.
It wasn't supposed to be so obvious.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'll reiterate.
Maybe in 25 I'll leave the Bowman to you, but yeah, I really appreciated the opportunity to go all out. I was definitely doing it all myself before this, and did go all out all the time, and it was kind of exhausting actually. So I appreciate the ability to share the load, and the ability to get people what they want. Not just us, but all the folks we work with who do good, honest breaks and foster good communities. So, what a great place to be. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we will see you all again very soon. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.
See you later.
Happy New Year.